So welcome to Team Zoom, you guys. My name is Kim Kane. I am your Triple Diamond upline. And I'm super excited that you could be on tonight. We do these every single Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Usually we have about 2 pages on, so I pray that more people hop on. But yes, I'm so excited because tonight we have Denise Walsh, and you know that because it's been in my team page over and over and over. And I'm like, oh my, everybody's freaking out. So we're super excited. But we're just going to hop into it. And so if you wouldn't mind, Denise, just sharing, because I know I've heard your story for 5 years, but I still love it. Like and some of us on here have not heard your story. So how long have you been in? And then tell us your story.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'm excited to connect with you. Kim and I had coffee last week, I think it was, a week or two ago. Mm-hmm. And, I love just that this business brings so many of us together, and we're like, it's just so fun. Like, that's why we do this, right? Is because we get to do it together in community. And so, Kim, I've just really enjoyed seeing you grow over the past few years.
You're so
and
cool.
Like blossom, you know what I mean? And if you guys have been a part of this for a while, you've seen like her just like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like you're like,
Thank you. That means.
And one of the reasons why Kim and I have like hung out and gotten to know each other is because she shows up. She shows up to everything. And so those who show up are like, hi, I want to hang out with you.
Oh, love that. Yes.
So also know that I just got my eyebrows microbladed, and it's 4 days in, and they like scab and then fall off. So they're really dark right now, and I did it now because it's vacation. So anyway. Yep. Okay. So my story is I've been a part of It Works for almost 12 years. 12 years. I started when I was 26 years old. Which is just crazy because I was a clinical psychologist. I got into the field of psychology because I have a heart for people, and Kim and I even talked a bit about that at coffee. Part of the reason why I got into psychology was because of my work at camp. I was a camp counselor for 4 summers throughout my college years. And I was in Asheville, North Carolina. I did home repair. So like if you've ever been on a mission trip, you guys, I was the girl that was like, you came on the mission trip, and I was like, all right, guys, we're going to go paint a house today, And so we'd work with the homeowner. We would work with the youth group. And I was like in charge of the home site that week, which meant I did a lot of heavy lifting. I like took shingles up ladders. They called me Diesel as a nickname. Like I was tough, and I loved that. I loved the work that I got to do there. And I really was like, I think that was my first group leadership experience. And I share some of these like back details because I think sometimes people see the stage and they see like the success of something, but they don't know like all the little dots that really like set me up to be here, which I know you probably have your own story in a very similar way where you can look back and go, oh, that makes sense now. Like how the heck? So back in North Carolina, I was doing home repair stuff. And then I was like, okay, that's a lot of hard labor. I just want to love people. So one of my North Carolina was a really big God story. And then New York was another big God story where I just said, all right, I'm ready for something. I put it out there. I said what I wanted. And then I kept my eyes open. And I would look for different camps. I was looking for things that were more about kids and less about work and like heavy lifting. And I randomly, of course, not random, I don't even know how I got on this website, but I got an email from a camp in New York that basically said, we work with foster kids, and our job is to love them. And I was like, yes, that's me. And I decided to be the lifeguard because I like being tan. So I got my lifeguard certificate, and I was a lifeguard for that entire summer, which meant that I got to know all the kids, which was really special because when you're a counselor for the cabin, right, you get to know those kids well. And I did that the following year. But the first year I got to know all of the kids. And oh my gosh, it was just like my heart was like pouring. And that is when I decided I wanted to go into psychology throughout these camp experiences where I was like, oh, these kids do not know how amazing they are. They've been given this lot in life essentially that they didn't choose. And like, I want to help them be all that they could be. So psychology was my way in those days before cell phones, before Facebook before all these other ways that you can bless the world. It was like traditional blessing the world, was psychology. So I got my master's in psych from Wheaton. I got my first job here in Barry County, which is right outside Grand Rapids. And I was a counselor for about 5 years in our local community mental health. So I did substance abuse. I did anger management groups. I worked with bipolar, schizophrenia. Like I did, on call, meaning like ER visits when people were suicidal. And it was just a lot of heavy emotional, it was a whole world I didn't really know about. And it was really burnout. I would pick a few clients that I would be like, this is why I'm here, is to like be with you. But for the most part, I felt underqualified, like I didn't really know what to tell these people. I was working with those, they're on medications, and obviously I was just the counselor, but like, you're thrown in and, you do the best that you can. But at the end of the day, I was like, I don't want to be here for 30 years. I don't want to be here for 30 years. And I don't really know what else to do. Especially because I was grown up. My dad was an accountant. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And so all I knew was go to work, stay there for 30 years, and then retire. So I didn't know what to do. So I started looking at other jobs, and I started thinking, but is the grass really greener over there? At least I know the paperwork here. It takes you 2 years to figure that out. So at least I know what I'm doing here. Even if I don't really like it, at least I get it. And so I share this part of the story because I think so many times we stay comfortable, even if we don't like it, because it's comfortable. And I lived in that restlessness for about 5 years where I was like, okay, this is not it. Like this is not well with my soul. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't feel good here. I feel like a zombie. I feel like I'm just going through the motions. I'm not, I had been in passion before is the thing, right? I had been working from my passion zone. I've been impassioned. I've been excited about what I was doing. I felt connected to what I was doing before. And in this space, I didn't feel that way. And so, but I didn't know what to do. And so I would look around and I looked elsewhere and I was like, tell me what to do. Somebody tell me what to do. I don't really know what to do. And then I was scared to take a wrong step. So then I did nothing. I did nothing. And thankfully, within that searching and kind of restlessness, we joined a small group at church. Brandon had always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and he was an aerospace engineer, which sounds really cool, but he was bored out of his mind as well, just like working with grouchy old men in cubicle world, writing code all day for airplanes, which was an important job, but very boring. And so he was really ready for something himself. So we joined a small group at church. We were 20, I was 20, we were 24 when we got married. We were 26 when we moved into our house and started this new church and started in a small group. And what's really cool is that we were in this group, Young Marrieds, for 2 times. 2 times. Young Marrieds class, 2 times. We were 26. We thought that they would all be young marrieds. They were all 30-something with toddlers. And so we only went twice because we were like, you guys are young families. You're not young married. But during those 2 times, Cammie and Nathan went once. And it was the one time that we just signed up in a small group. That one small group, like that one class, we joined a small group. We got a list of names. I called all of them. Cammie was on the list. She was the only one outside of our neighborhood. And that is how I was introduced to the company, was through our small group at church. So I first tried a wrap. I became a customer. 2 weeks later, we upgraded to become distributors after Brandon had spent some time with Mark in his office. Mark and Brandon played basketball together at church and things. And so we were like, if we're ever going to do this, this is the type of people we want to do it with. These are the people we trust. This is a hot sizzle product. I understand health and nutrition. I've always been interested in working out. I've run 2 marathons. I've always been interested in health. So I understood the products and Brandon understood the business. Now, at the end of the day, I was a clinical psychologist, right? I'm not a marketer. I'm not a salesperson. I don't get that. I'm really good at coffee dates. I like good conversation. I'm not somebody who understands sales. So when I first got started, I really had a lot of growth to do. I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10 in leadership or confidence, I was a 4. And basically, we didn't have social media back then. For 3 years, I built the business without social media and without smartphones. So we were like, had flip phones and MapQuest, and we drove around and we did parties and we wrapped people. We did expos. I traveled and did expos. We called people on the phone. What? I know. And we would like follow up and call them, and I would have like a whole list of people to call every night. And we just tried stuff. We just tried stuff. We learned as we went. And within about a year, I went diamond. 2 years, I went double. 3 years, triple. 4 years, presidential. 5 years, ambassador. And then 8 total years, black diamond. Now, if you were to tell me at the beginning of this journey that we would be earning black diamond income, I did not have a brain cell for that. I didn't. But what happens in this business is that as you start hitting goals and you start growing, your mind begins to expand. And I think a few aha moments I had at the beginning of my journey, and then Kim, I'll let you ask a few questions, but the few aha moments I had were when I realized that I could do it. Because again, at the beginning of my business, there weren't a ton of success stories. So I didn't get to like hear a bunch of people. Cammie was diamond when I got started. And Melody went ambassador within those first 3 years, but she was the first ambassador in the entire company. And so I would look at Cammie or Melody McFarland or Debbie Sasick, and I'd be like, good for you, but can I do it? Good for you, Cammie. Your dad's the CEO. Can I do it? You're loud and obnoxious and really crazy. Can I do this? Carla, you're a nurse. Everyone believes you. Can I do this? Debbie, you're super professional. Like, you know what you do, So there was a lot of times where I was just like, cool, but is this for me? Can I really do it? Can I excel in this? And so I remember one time I was talking to Brandon about it, and I was like, should I go back to school for business? Should I learn X, Y, and Z? Should I like go to school for supplements? Should I learn about all the products? Like, what should I do? And he said, Denise, you've always been a good friend. Just do that. And that was one of the turning points. And I'm sure you guys have heard that story before, but that was one of the turning points where I was like, oh, like I could do this because of what I'm already good at. I can do this because of what already comes naturally to me. And instead of working on my weaknesses to make them stronger, which is what I thought I needed to do, I was asking my question, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to be doing better? What should I be doing differently? And I flipped it and I said, instead of focusing on where I could get better, focus on what I'm naturally already good at. What naturally makes me excited? What do I really want to connect with people on? And that's helping people grow. Guess what? I can do what I was called to do within this business. And so in that mind flip, instead of, I was like, instead of focusing on trying to be uber professional. So before I would call people up from an expo and I'd be like, hi, this is Denise Walsh from It Works and the Body Reps. How may I help you today? And instead, because I wanted them to take me seriously, I was 26 when we started. I didn't know. I thought that I had to be like a call center. And so I started saying, hey girl, I'm about to go for a run, but I wanted to let you know that X, Y, and Z is happening. Did you want to get your order in? Or, hey, Brandon and I are about to go out to dinner, but I started being more friendly and more relational. And more like, hey, if you're going to join my business, you're going to be my friend anyway, so we might as well start now. And I started being more relational about it, and guess what? It worked. And then my confidence grew, and then my vision grew because I started to realize, oh, I'm good at this. I can be good at this. And so now I feel like part of my job as a team leader is to create those experiences for my team, right? Where they go, oh, I can do this. Like, oh, okay, this is something I can do. Because I think so many people come in and they're like, good for you. But I didn't get in 12 years ago. Good for you. But I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. I'm scared of doing lives, whatever it is. So we want to create experiences where our people go, I got this. So that means, whether it's interviewing them on lives, whether it's doing accountability stuff, where it's giving like kudos, recognition, shout outs. I love when we interview somebody about like how how they work on signing customers, and then they get all these friend requests, you know, and they're like, woohoo, I'm awesome. So those are the types of experiences that we want to provide, because I know for me, that was one of my biggest aha moments throughout the beginning of the journey. 2 other random things to know about the first 8 years, 5 years, first 5 years, and then we'll go into the Black Diamond story. But is what was it? I was about to say 2 stories. They're really important. Let me think. I know. Shoot. What was it?
Well, while you're thinking, I will say, like, I love that you talk about working within your strengths, because I joined 5 years ago and I thought I had to be all these people. And it was when I finally realized, that's why it took me from diamond to double. It took me 2 years, because I finally realized that it's okay to be like 100% myself, just 100% me, and cast that light on people. So I love that you said that.
Yeah. And you, I mean, I think that's the thing, is when we can help people understand even what their strengths are, because they might not even know what they are at the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. Or think they're important. I think we often second guess our strengths and think that they're everybody's strengths and that they're not important, when in fact they really are. But that did remind me, my hardest promotion, I would say, was Ruby to Emerald. Because with Ruby, you could do Ruby yourself, you know. But with Emerald, you needed to have people duplicating you. So we sat at Ruby for a while, like trying to find people that really wanted to do what we were doing. But that's why you see so many people now going from Ruby to Diamond, because once you have 2 key players, that's all it takes, right? 2 key players takes you Emerald, Diamond, double, period. Whoop! You can go Emerald to double in 2 months when you're really focusing on those 2 legs. But we had to find them. Our warm market didn't sign up until we were triple diamond, quit our job, and went to Australia. Finally, they were like, tell me more about what you're doing. My sister didn't sign up until I was ambassador. And so we didn't have a warm market that jumped on board. We had to quickly go find others, but that meant it took a little bit longer, which ended up being fine, because at the end of the day, I didn't know what I was doing until I knew what I was doing. So I had to practice on a lot of people to really figure out what questions they were asking. You'll find that people ask the same questions, and you can, you know what I mean? It's like the same 5 questions. Is it safe? Does it work? Do you like it? Will I make money? Will you help me? You know, those types of things. And then the other thing to know is that the people that got us to triple are not the same people that got us to ambassador. And I think that's an interesting part of the story. Is we went to Australia the company opened in Australia. We were doing Google ads. We found some people in Australia. We did Skype appointments with them beforehand. We spent 6 weeks in Australia wrapping as many Aussies as we could. And then we came back and our leaders were kind of gone. Like, if you think of a triple, Brandon was my double, right? So we had basically 3 diamonds. 1 got cancer, 1 was going through a divorce, and 1 kind of faded away. And because Cammie was working so heavily on my team, she had a lot of the relationships with them and not me. So when she went to go focus on another team, I didn't feel comfortable calling them. Like, I didn't have the strong relationship with them. So it kind of fell apart, and our volume was okay because it had taken us so long. We had like really strong volume, but we had to find new people that took us to ambassador. So Pam would always ask me, she'd be like, Denise, your volume is so low and your checks are so high. And I was like, but when I think about it, it was really because all the people I was working with to go ambassador were fully triple coded to me. So if you're not diamond and above yet, you might not know what that means. But if you are diamond and above, or you're almost diamond, it just means half the compensation plan is unlocked to you, and you're getting bonuses for years. And what's really cool about that is I didn't have split attention, right? I didn't have all of these people that I was working with that were not coded to me. I really was only working within my coding legs. Is the only people that I had, and it ended up working out to my advantage. So I think at the end of the day, it all ends up working out. And if you have, promoted to diamond and above, and you don't have those leaders anymore, it can be a blessing in disguise, because now the people you sign up are coded to you, and you will have full attention on them. So does that bring up any questions, you guys, in the chat or Kim?
Yeah, like, first of all, I love how honest you are. And you only did that in 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, you told your entire Black story. And like,
I have got a whole nother section, don't worry.
No, that was good though. That was so good. And, you know, I kind of heard most of that at coffee, and it's just so cool to me, like how honest you are with all of that. And that it just goes to show that literally, you know, you kept saying, but could I do it? But could I do it? But could I do it? And I mean, I think that's everybody. And you did it. And so for those of you who don't know, you know, Black Diamond, you know, there's distributor to ambassador. We see that on the income chart, but we don't see Black Diamond on the income chart. And that's because you have to be making $100,000 a month for 6 consecutive months in order to hit that Black Diamond rank. And so Denise did that. Someone from Grand Rapids who didn't know if she could. She started when she was 26, just because of a small group at church. And she was a clinical psychologist, right? That's how you say it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like, it's just so crazy. So if you don't think you can, just know that you can. I love seeing all the different shades of people, like the different, like they have gone ambassador, that have gone, you know, top 25. They're all so different. So I've loved seeing that. But I do have really quickly, because you didn't just become this person. You didn't just like one day wake up and you're like, oh, I'm the bomb and everything's perfect and my mind is perfect and I'm perfect and life is perfect. You kind of created like your own thing. I mean, you started to visualize. And so I don't know if you specifically want to talk about this because I think it's awesome, but you started to actually visualize the life that you wanted. I mean, you went over like your what is it called, scream room. When we were at Green Carpet, you had like your own scream room, and that made me tear up. But you have now this book, so if you guys, you should know about it, but on Amazon she has she wrote the Dream Life Daily Journal, and it is like the most perfect thing I've ever seen, because it literally starts with a morning prayer, your gratitude game. I mean, she's got everything, reflection, like you're a huge visualizer. So can you tell us like what a daily morning routine looks like even to this day for Denise, for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I think is so cool is when I first came in, I was a hard worker, right? I'm a really good employee. Tell me what to do and I'll do it well. You know, I'm like a bloom where I'm planted kind of person. I was not a visionary. I didn't understand risk taking. I didn't understand stepping out of my comfort zone. Like I understood like following, like I'd gone to camp and that was scary, but like not really, you know what I mean? It wasn't as scary as something like this, but so needless to say, I did not have a vision and I had to develop my vision. And I hung around people like Cammie and Mark and Carla and Brandon, who are like the biggest, most confident vision casters I could ever meet. And I grew my vision muscle. I grew my personal vision, my like, you know what I mean? And I think it's so cool because now I have a shirt that says Clarity Queen. And I created another one that says Dreamcaster. And I have a podcast that's called Dreamcast. And I'm like, it is my mission to help people create and cultivate their personal vision. And I probably am so excited about it because I didn't have that when I first started. I just kind of put the two together. It's kind of funny. So the journal was created because after Black Diamond, you'll find this too, when you experience your own success, everybody starts going, tell me how. Tell me how. How did you do it? If I were a fly on the wall, tell me how. And I'm like, I just call leads all day. Like, seriously, that's all I do. You guys know, we just follow up all day. That's all we do. But it was more than that. And I had to reverse engineer our success or what I was doing to really create momentum within our team. Because I'll tell a short version of the Black Diamond story, because it took us 3 years. Like, we tried for 3 years. And the first year was 2013, and we had our highest check that year. We had our highest check, one of our highest checks that year. It was like our top spot was $140,000 one month. And I thought we had Black Diamond in the bag. You know, you're going $100,000 a month for 6 consecutive months. This was month like 3 or 4, 3 maybe. And so I thought we had it in the bag. And I honestly think I took it for granted. I think I thought it would just happen. I think that I was just like woohoo, woohoo. And I was like riding the wave. But I started having these thoughts that were saying things like 98, 98, 98, 98, 98, 98, 98, 98, 98. And I started thinking, like, wouldn't that be so funny if we just missed it by a few $1,000s? I didn't take my thought captive. I didn't retrain my brain. I just allowed it. This is me me taking it for granted, thinking it's going to happen on its own, and allowing my thoughts to like run wild, right? Well, Pam called me month 5. We had 4 months under our belt. Month 5, she called and she said, Denise, you didn't make it. It was like 97 something, and with fast starts it ended up being 98. And I said, Pam, I've been thinking 98 all month long. And she said, Denise, you did it to yourself. And I've cried. You know, like, how many of you have ever set a goal and you missed it? Like, sucks. And I mean, that was not the first time in my business, but that was a time. I also remember a time when I ordered a stinking wrap pack that was $59 and 49 BV, and I missed my promotion by 10 BV, but it's another story. And so this was Black Diamond. And so, yeah, that happened. And I was like mad about it. So the next year, 2014, I was just grouchy. You know, when you say you want something, but your heart is not aligned with what you say you want, it doesn't happen. I've learned the hard way. So the next year I was like, we're going Black Diamond. But in my heart, you guys, I was like, freak whatever. Yeah, right. If it happens, it happens. We'll see. You know, I didn't believe it. And so, I mean, think about how many of us are going like, we're going to go Ruby. But in our hearts, we're like, yeah, right. You know, or I'm going to have a really awesome party. But in our hearts, we're like, we'll see if anyone shows up. You know what I mean? Like, what I've learned is that the words that our hearts say are more important than the words our brain says. And so in 2014, I was like, yeah, right, we'll see, whatever. And so when it didn't happen, you like I was like, see, I told you. So then in 2015, I knew that if I wanted something to change, something had to change. So 2 things happened in 2015. Number 1, we got 2.0. And that means when you're ambassador, you get another 2.0 spot, meaning that you get another spot to build. And what this did, you guys, was give me focus. Because I was ambassador and Brandon was ambassador. We had been ambassador for a few years. We were building diamonds wide under Brandon. That was like the strategy, right? Well, I can only be so excited about someone else's promotion. I have to let them, for their sake, flip themselves. I have to. It's part of their growth for them to do the work. So I can help, I can support, I can, whatever, but like they've got to be in the game too, and they've got to flip themselves over, and and so I can only be so excited about someone else's promotion. I've got to like let them do it so they grow in the process. And so when I got 2.0, I was like, this is my promotion. Like, this is mine. I am owning this one. And so we went triple diamond in 1 year because I was head down. I was buried. I was making it happen. I was like, no excuses. You know what I mean? Like, this was up to me. So we built some great teams. We had great leaders. Like, a lot of good people came from that. But it was like, I was fully invested in that team promoting, which meant it was, it created new momentum. It created new momentum in coding. It created new momentum. And it created a focus. And when you have a clear focus like that, blinders are on, you know what I mean? And you're just like, I'm going this direction and life can happen. Don't care. Like people could say, no, I don't hear it. Like things, road bumps, whatever, like I'm going here. Are you coming or not? Like, I don't have time to herd sheep. I'm running. Are you coming? Like, let's go. You know what I mean? And you're just like, blinders are on. And so the focus really helped me create momentum within myself to not get distracted by ups and downs by life. Because to be honest, 2015 was a very hard personal year. It was not an easy personal year for me. There was family drama happening, and I had to compartmentalize, like, okay, that's that. Today I'm doing a power hour. You know what I mean? Like, I had to really separate from and not allow life to dictate how my business was running, because we had a mission. And that is when we created the war room. My war room is it's a closet downstairs. It's a walk-in closet in my extra bedroom. It has like a shelf on it. And I go there when I want to speak out loud, when I want to write with no distractions, when I don't want my kids asking for water, when I want to like put things on the walls and tape them up and not take them down. And it creates a space for me to to cry, to forgive, to speak victory over my family, over my team. Like, I talked about what I wanted before I saw it in my real life. I spoke about what I wanted before. If you looked at the world around me, it was not what I was speaking about. You know what I mean? And I think we can get caught in the now and caught in the struggle rather than describing the victory, the solution, the success. And so in my war room, I would speak about, thank God about, claim victory about things that were 3 steps ahead of where I was. Breakthrough happened in that war room. Breakthrough happened. And I would come upstairs and Brandon would be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, praying. And he's like, I can tell. I'm like, okay, good. Like, I don't know. There's like something powerful going on. But what I noticed, you guys, is that like that's personal vision, is when you're starting to talk about and write down and speak out loud the things that you want. And what happens is a couple things. Number one, you turn on your reticular activating system, which is a filter in your brain that allows you to see the world, right? And there's, tens of thousands of input coming in. Your reticular activating system filters what's important, and it knows what's important based on what you're thinking. And so I want to train my reticular activating system to see what I truly want it to see, right? But then the other thing that happened is it went from my head to my heart. I didn't just say I wanted it. I started to really embody it. I started to really believe it. I started to be like, dude, yesterday, you know what I mean? Like, yes, this is happening. And so the other thing that happened throughout that year was we did the 2025 Come As You Will Be party. It was 2015. We planned it. It was at, if you guys are in Grand Rapids, it was at the zoo downtown. They have like this, it's called the Tree House. And so you take a trolley up to the Tree House, and we had binoculars that said, where there's no vision, people perish. And in order to prepare for this event, I had to do, and I had to do a lot of work with my team because they were mad at me. They were like, Denise, I don't even know what I want to do next week. How am I going to know what I want to do in 10 years? So we had to do Zooms like this and just talk about your ideal day, 30 things you want to be, do, and have. What do you really want? And then really picture what you wanted life to look like in 10 years. What do you want to have accomplished? And so I created a business card that said, it works first, triple black diamond, as seen on Oprah's Favorite Things and American Ninja Warrior. This is before the bodybuilding competition. And, things like that. And I started being like I started to really get deep. You know what I mean? It just you get deep with it. And we were at this party when Mark texted us and said, Denise, you got month 5. Like, we had gotten a couple months, 3-4 months before, but we got month 5. And so we were at this party, and I got on the microphone and I said, you guys, this is real time right now. And we just got month 5. And all of our leaders were there. There was over 100 people at the party. Our leaders had flown in for this event. They were all so stinking excited that we were brainstorming for the whole rest of the leadership retreat about what to do and how to do it. And we decided we don't need to train. Like, training, what we all know what to do. We need to follow up and chart, follow up and chart, follow up and chart. So that's when Power Hours were born. We did Power Hours 8 to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday for the entire rest of the month. I wore Cammie's black diamond jacket every single day. I started, anytime I had these negative thoughts pop up, during this month 5, I started thinking 78 for some reason. 78. This time I was listening to The Strangest Secret every single day. And I was like, what do I want? I want 103, 103, 103, 103. Month 5, you guys, was 1025. So then I was like, okay, that's a little bit too close. So then I went 113, 113, 113. And anytime the fear popped up, anytime second guessing happened, anytime I started to doubt myself, anytime I was like, wouldn't that be so embarrassing if we'd miss it again? Anytime that happened, I would go 113, 113, 113, 113. And I trained my brain to focus on what I wanted rather than what I didn't. Because we often go to the fear side. Even this past year, creating this stuff, I've been like, what if, but you have to go back to what you want. And so I created so much momentum on these Zooms with our team that we were working together. It felt like Finding Nemo, where he says, everybody swim down. And like, everybody's like going in the same direction. That's the energy that we were creating as a team. And that is when momentum, I mean, not only was created in that 1 month, it had been created for months and months prior, years prior, right? All kind of coming up to this. But then month 6 was 131. And it was just one of those, like, and what two more Black Diamond stories. And one of them is we had a vacation planned. This was August. We had a vacation planned September 1st. And you just think, thank the Lord. Who knew that we would, you don't plan to go Black Diamond and then go, like, we didn't know. We just happened to go on vacation that week. So we got the call. We went on vacation with our family, and it was like such a whew. And then we got to go on the Black Diamond experience, which is where they take us in a private jet down to Florida. We got a $5,000 shopping spree that I did not share with Brandon. And we went on to the island. We had super fancy dinners and like private, bands and stuff like that. And I remember feeling anxious the entire time. And this time I was experiencing success guilt. And I remember thinking things like, there's so many people who are working hard. There's so many people who have a story to tell. There's so many people, like, why did we get this? And feeling like people were mad at us for experiencing success, or maybe throwing tomatoes at us through Facebook, or like didn't think we deserved it and were like grouchy about it. You just make up all this stuff. And so I was experiencing that, and I listened to The Strangest Secret again during my run, which basically says you become what you think about. So if you guys go to my YouTube channel, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, and listen to it every day for 30 days, and it will change your life. And I started thinking, what do I want to feel? And how do I want to experience this? And how do I want to be? And right when I got done with my run, I was stretching, and a girl messaged me, and she said, Denise, if I make no more money with this business, I will forever be grateful for our team, because this business has changed my life. My husband got baptized. We're paying off debt. We're closer. Like, I'm having so much fun. Like, thank you, And it was, again, one of those God signs that was like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm on this earth to help people grow. And I get to do that within my team and within this company. And I get to go on a private jet to a private island. Both and. And what's so cool about that part of the story is that she was woke up out of a dead sleep. She works third shift and woke out of a dead sleep to text me that. And I think no matter where you are in this journey, there's God showing up everywhere. God showing up everywhere. So when we hit Black Diamond and we started sharing the story of Black Diamond and really understanding, I didn't know what was fully happening until you look back and go, I didn't believe it. That's why it didn't happen. And when I finally embodied it, that's when success and that's when momentum was created. And so the journal, you guys, it has been my morning routine for years. And I just did it on a notebook. And so to have like the steps and the guide and the like prompts, I'll take you through it. Morning prayer and then eyes wide open. This section was created because what is the question most people ask me when they are on a coaching call? What am I doing wrong? And I'm like, ugh, so not interested in talking about that. I want to talk about, why did you get started? What do you love about this business? What makes your like passion light up? Like what makes you drive? Like what makes, you know what I mean? I want to talk about that and then like do that more. And so eyes wide open is saying, what's working, guys? Like what's already working? Where is God showing up in your life today? Like all these small things. It could be running into a friend at the store. It could be, somebody finally messaging you back. It could be, whatever it is. Where is God already working, and how can we have our eyes on that? And then a gratitude game in every section is different. Gratitude game is different every time because this increases your emotional energy. This like raises your emotional body. And as we know, what your heart sings is more important than what your head says sometimes. And so we've got to retrain our brain, but the goal is that we don't just retrain our brain, but that we really impact how we feel. I learned this when Pam said something like, she said to Debbie Sasek, Debbie, do you think ambassador is going to be hard? And Debbie said, yeah, I do. And Pam said, that is why it's hard. Like what we feel is often just, if not more important than what we're really thinking. So we want to connect them. That's when magic happens, miracles happen. That's when the how figures itself out, is when this head to heart connection. So the gratitude game increases your emotional body. And then we've got prayer, meditation, and reflection. Meditation, you guys, if you've never done that before, I use Headspace as an app. It can be guided meditation. If you don't feel like you've got a ton of time, just take a few, like 5 to 10 deep breaths. It doesn't have to be like intense, but the goal is to slow your thought patterns down, slow your and you'll find that you'll connect with yourself. This space was created because a lot of times people will ask me, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And it really is more about who you be, like you want to be somebody that people want to sign up with. And then reflection gives you a space for journaling. And then we're going to write down your dream life goal. For our business, that's promotion, that's income, that's like, what are you working towards? And what this does is give you the focus. Just like 2.0 gave me a focus, this is your intention. And then you have affirmations and visualizations that are connected to the goal. So you see yourself at this quote unquote finish line. Like, we know there's no finish line. We'll keep growing. But for this specific goal, what does it look like when you're diamond? What does it look like when you've paid off $10,000 in debt? What does it look like when you've bought a new car? What does it look like? Like, you want to start embodying it and feeling it and experiencing it before it even happens. By the time you hit it, you go, duh, like I already knew. And you like feel it already. So this is taking that goal. This is when you create your own personal vision. And then we have action. I put health and relationships because we want to be well-rounded. But what can I do today to take a step in that direction? What you guys will find is that sometimes it may feel like a turtle's pace. Like, I'm going to call 10 leads today. Is that actually helping me? But what you will see over time is, yes, that 1% shift of staying consistent is taking you in a completely new direction, and that's snowballing. And all of a sudden, 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore. 2 + 2, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, because you know what you want, you're excited about it, you're focused on it, and you're staying consistent in it, all of a sudden somebody signs up at the end of the month when you didn't even know it. Like, that's how this works. So you may not feel like, you know what I mean? Like, what you want to break it down so you can do it that day, check it off, and know that what you're doing is taking you in a direction. But it's those steps every single day that are going to catapult you in a new direction. You know what I mean? It's taking you in a new direction with the consistency of it. But yeah, this has been my morning routine for a while now, and I'm really excited to be able to share the vision of knowing what you want, embodying it, the affirmations, visualization, and really creating your own personal vision, and then doing something every day that's taking you in a direction, because I know that over time, those things are going to create momentum for your team too.
So exciting. And I truly hope that, not even as a plug, I'm not even doing this as a plug, like, I hope all of you go get this. Like, I genuinely, because when I started this business, I know most of you on here, including Denise, kind of know a little bit about this, but I didn't grow up in a space, even, in my childhood and as an adult, where people told me I could, and I had these dreams and these visions and these, I cans and these I ams. I didn't have any of that. So when you start to realize that this business really is 80% mindset and 20% skill, you're like, okay, but what do I do with that? Like, I feel like some people are like, if I'm not messaging 150 people a day, I'm not doing it right. No, really, it's that time in the morning that you give yourself. And this is like the most perfect setup for people, especially if you don't really know how to go about that. And I'm one of those that needs something like this, even though, yep, I love the Bible. Yep, I love writing things down, but being consistent in that every single day and having that like alignment, like you said, I'm so excited about that. And I've started it, and I love it. I love it so much.
If you guys need help with the affirmations part, because sometimes people are like, I don't know. And the bigger book that I have coming out in May, It's called Design Your Dream Life.
Yeah.
That is going to be all encompassing. That's like the bigger book, but we redid this first. I had all of this done and it had to be redone. And that is part of my 2018 story, but it's going to be better than ever. And so the bigger book is coming out in May, and that will really break down how to do a lot of this stuff. But if you go to dreamlifetoolkit.com and like, if you press journal, it'll ask you to put your information and then it'll take you straight to Amazon, but you'll get one of the freebies, and one of the freebies is an affirmations list. And that, I know, even for me, is helpful to like have a guide, you know what I mean? To like have prompts to help me get in the pattern. And then the goal is that you do it consistently where you're creating new thought patterns and you're shifting your identity. Someone asked me one time, they were like, do I have the same goal every day? And I said, yes, until it happens. And part of the consistency is retraining your brain into knowing that this is who you are and where you're going, where you can let go of the how, you can let go of the fear, because you're like confidently owning your stuff. And that takes consistency. So the same affirmations consistently, I mean, it can be like switched up a bit, but you're headed in the same direction. And what's really cool about that is your subconscious cannot differentiate between a real or an imagined event. Meaning, when you picture something in your mind with this visualization, like your body has to figure out a way to make it happen. It's like gravity. It's like the law. And what happens as adults is we use our imagination for fear-based things often. And it's just default. It's just so easy. I mean, believe me, I've really had to practice this year. I'm like, thank you for all of these ways to practice. I'm mad at my designer and people are hurting my feelings and this is just not fair and all these things. But again, when you retrain and you use your imagination for good, for what you want, and you picture it so deeply, like things you didn't even expect will come into your path. And it's so freaking cool. So one of my like excitements is I'm like, I just can't wait to see what happens when I don't give up. You know, when I like stay so focused and excited that even in the ups and downs, even within the discouragement, even when it's not going fast enough or it's costing more than I expected or whatever, I just want to see what happens when I don't give up and when I stay the course, because I know the how is going to show up too.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And so like, what are some of your favorite, you know, I'm sure you have them like not only in your daily journal, but like, what are some amazing I am examples that you have told yourself over and over?
So I am the most positive person I know.
Mm-hmm.
I am a transformational trainer. I am bringing and meeting amazing, like-minded people each and every day. I am an engaged mom and loving wife. I love where I am and I know where I'm going. I am earning $300,000 a month, working 6 hours a day.
That's a good one. Me too. But yeah, like, because I know when I first started, I didn't really know how to put together I am. So
Yeah.
I am awesome. I am loyal. I am confident. I am a child of God. Like, what else do you say? And those were really, really specific ones. So I don't know.
2 books that helped me with that. The Power of I Am by Joel.
Oh, yeah.
Osteen.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, how do you have a whole book about I am statements?
Yeah.
But this was where I learned, like, oh, I just don't talk about what I am today. I talk about who I want to become and what I want. You know what I mean? This was one of the first times I was like, oh, even if I don't see victory today, I'm speaking victory, you know? Even if I don't see I've got a ton of new rock stars, I'm talking like I do, and they start to come. So, and then I Declare by Joel Osteen. What I love about Joel Osteen is that he's like so positive. You know what I mean? Like he helps retrain your brain because he's always like the on the spectrum. You know, there's like normal people and then there's Joel. But we need that. Like, you need strong, positive, that's why when we talk to prospects, we're like, yes, absolutely. You're going to love it. I'm going to support you. You're going to make money. You will hit your goals. Like, you're strong in your belief because they're fearful. We got to like sway them, right? We got to move them down the line. Joel is the same way for me. If I'm ever having a bad day, or if I really want to strengthen that muscle, I read him because he's so like positive. But in the I Declare, I used to read one, I still do randomly, but for a couple years, I read an I Declare to end my team Zooms. And so now I have them memorized, and all randomly, they'll like come to me. So one of my favorites is, I declare God's incredible blessing over my life. I will see an explosion of God's goodness, a sudden, widespread increase. I will experience the surpassing greatness of God's favor, and it will elevate me to a level higher than I ever dreamed of. Explosive blessings are coming my way. And this year I started saying, I see an explosion of God's goodness and a sudden widespread increase. I experience the surpassing greatness of God's favor. I am elevated to a level higher than I ever dreamed of. Explosive blessings are here. And I really like in the midst of feeling defeated, sudden widespread increase came to my mind, and you start to kind of develop some of those things. And then even if you're in tears, you're speaking it out loud. And that's when shifts really start to happen.
Yep. And like seeing, Paige said, your monthly income, mind blown. I know, hearing someone say, $300,000 when we sit and tell ourselves that even $2,000 a month seems really hard. Like, no, it's not. I mean, Denise just said 300,000. So all of this has been so good that obviously I don't have anything to add on because it was just so good, but does anybody have any specific questions they want to ask her? I know Melanie said.
Melanie has one.
Yeah, if you want to read that and answer that.
What's the best advice to someone that's rebuilding their team after it has fallen apart to keep going and not quit? Well, one thing to remember is that the people that got me to ambassador are not the same people that got me to triple. Wrong way. People that got me to triple are not the same people that got me to ambassador. And so at the end of the day, it's not rebuilding. You're always adding new people to your team. You're always looking to find those key people. It's like you have a deck of cards, right? And you're like looking for your ace, and you might have to go through 50 cards before you find your ace, but you'll find them and they will duplicate. And guess what? As you're going through it, you learn and grow in the process. So I think what can happen is if we feel like there's an end, or we feel like, we made it, or we feel like, if you ever are feeling like, well, number one, you're always going to feel like you're the hardest working person on your team. Always. We don't know what other people are doing. And so it will always feel like you care more than they do. And that's okay. That's just part of it. That's because you care, and that's good. And so it's just a matter of doing the effort yourself and telling your team what you are doing so they can get excited with you. But I don't spend too much time trying to drag people along, because I've learned that if it feels hard, it's the wrong person. Mm-hmm. So keep finding new people until you find someone that goes, all right, tell me what to do next.
Yes.
They're there.
Yep. That's good. Amen. Like, I never ever go, okay, I think I've signed like 2 brand new rock stars. Now I'm just going to let this ride out and see where it goes. No, every single month I'm like, all right, where's my next one at? And, you might get that one rock star every year, maybe 2, but it's always so worth it.
I would say 1 a year is about we sign up a lot of people, and I would say 1 really good person a year is about what we do.
Yep, I agree. I always say like 1 rock star a year has been my average, but you get those rock stars in between who help you promote and who want, and that's why it's important to be filling out your steps to success every single month. But and then teaching your team to do the same thing. I love when people say we're paid to do 2 things: get people started and help people get people started. Sign up loyal customers, sign up distributors. But what are some things, and you just touched on it, but you can't motivate your team. You can only inspire. So I love telling my team, sharing with them what I'm doing. This is what's working for me. Hey guys, I just did this. I just posted in my team page a couple days ago. I was like, you guys, I just got off the phone at 10 p.m. for 36 minutes. She signed up as a distributor and got the I'm All In pack for $200. Like, all from a phone conversation. Yes, it's scary. I didn't want to do it at 10 at night, but you do the things anyway. And I hope that showed my team that, hey, I might want to try that too, if it works. So yeah, you can only inspire your team. And I know that wasn't a question, but I know everybody asks it, and you cannot motivate. You can only inspire.
One thing that we're going to start doing more of, and I feel like I did this a lot a couple years ago, and then, you know, when you say things a million times and you're like, I don't need to say it anymore. And then you're like, oh, yep, I do. Yep. So we are going to do advanced compensation plan webinars, and we're going to talk money. Yeah. We're going to talk perfect storm. We're going to talk the fact that, like, this is a hot sizzle product people want, they're searching for, not only with the wraps and our skincare, but with the keto line and weight loss and the things that are coming. I mean, we can stand proud behind our products. There's no sucralose or and chemicals. Like, I never have to guess, right, if our products have good ingredients, because we know they do. It's like tested and true. So we've got products that people are looking for. We've got a debt-free, stable company with leaders who know what they're doing. If you've ever wanted to be a part of a company, like now is the time. You know what I mean? And this is the company, and this is the team. And so having some of that verbiage, and in team parties and virtual parties, and really just talking possibilities, talking income, talking money, like, you can earn this. You know what I mean? I just think that part of the reason we went Black Diamond is not because I was teaching people how to do really awesome parties. In fact, like, you probably don't even want to come to one of my parties, because I'm not green. I just show up. I know. I'm like, oh, I should have crushed up the Fat Fighter before I got here. But I feel like part of the reason we went Black Diamond is because I was casting vision, right? I was casting vision like nobody's business, meaning I was the Joel Osteen. I was like, you are going to make money. You are going to have fun. We're going to teach you what to do. This is going to be the best time of your life. I was like bold and confident and really excited about that. And because of that, we were able to move the needle with a lot of the prospects and with a lot of the distributors. So vision casting, and really the perfect storm kind of lingo is some keywords, not just in your team parties for prospects, but also for new distributors. Because you think they're still kind of like a prospect at the beginning until they're all in. They just got a toe in. So we've got to continue to cast vision for them too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, your energy. Yeah. Like, your energy, that's how I get most people to sign up, is just my energy, not because I'm awesome. Half the time I don't crush up my Fat Fighters either beforehand. And then I'm like, do you have a wine glass? I forgot that too. Like, can you grab one?
Like, do you have vegetable oil? Oh, yeah. No, you don't. Nobody has vegetable oil anymore. Got it.
So I have olive oil. I'm like, I don't know. We'll try. Okay. We'll try. Yeah. So like, casting that vision, I love that. So I'm definitely I'm going to write that down, casting vision. But I guess the last kind of thing I wanted to ask you is, because we do power hours, so what are some of your and your team's favorite thing to do during a power hour, like working? Yeah,
so we'll certainly post and follow up with people that message and comment, or like and comment on that specific post. But we also spend 15 minutes going through our customers and really following up with our customers. Sometimes when I'm doing kind of leadership power hours, we'll go through our reports and we'll follow up with either cabs or promotions, and send love. So sometimes it's like prospects we follow up with, host of post people we follow up with, current customers we follow up with, and then current team we send love. All of those things I think are really important, because the community is the glue. And if people don't feel like they're connected or important in the larger community, like they could not show up and it doesn't matter, then they could not show up and they don't think anyone cares. So sending love to our team and newbies and leaders, all of that is a part of the power hour sometimes too.
I like that. I like that you because we do the whole post message follow-up, grow your network, but I like that you actually go through like 15 minutes of getting a hold of your customers, because yeah, they're important too. Your current customers are also pretty important.
They will end up upgrading, right?
Yeah. Yes. That's my goal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's such awesome stuff. And I don't know if I have anything else. I don't think if anybody else does, post it now, but is there something that you wanted to just end up, because it's the end of the month. That's what I was going to say. It's the end of the month. Like, we're so blessed to have you on our Zoom on the end of the month. Like what we're going into, oh my gosh, is just stupid exciting. So like, can you just end us with like, hey, it's end of the month, conference is coming. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. What they're bringing out at conference and throughout this next year, not only with new products, which are going to be a whole nother level. We heard about Thermophyte X, which has the green tea extract and things in it, which we'll hopefully be able to get pretty soon so we can all have our before and after picture by conference. But there's other really fun things coming down the pipeline that people are already looking for and want, and we will have. But then also the tools, the tools are in place. I know that for a lot of us, the questions that new distributors ask is, what do I do? Tell me what to do. And so we are giving people every single tool. Send them this, show them this. The tool for how to prospect and how to take people on a journey is part of what's coming out at conference. And so basically there's like no excuse. Any excuse has been taken off the table because everything you need, we absolutely have. The question is do you want to? And if you want to, you will be a millionaire with this company. So I don't know how long you've been in, or if you are kind of oldies like me and Kim, but you're at the right time, at the right place. And I think we have the exact right tools that we all need to experience success over the next year. So let me end with I declare.
Yes.
I'm just going to open up to a random one.
Okay.
This is our end of year going into 2019 with a clean slate, clear vision, lessons learned, moving on, like we are experiencing and are going to experience our dream life this year. I truly, truly believe it. And this is our declaration. I declare God's supernatural favor over my life. What I could not make happen on my own, God will make happen for me. Supernatural opportunities, healing, restoration, and breakthroughs are coming my way. I am getting stronger, healthier, and wiser. I will discover talent that I didn't know I had, and I will accomplish my God-given dream. This is my declaration. Amen.
If that was not the most perfect declaration to end 2019 like as my team heads into top 100, if that was not the most perfect, I declare. That was awesome. Thank you for doing that. All right.
Oh, well, thank you guys. All right, go get it. Whatever your goal is, it's happening. You're in the midst of your story, and I can't wait to see you on stage next year.
I cannot wait. Thank you so much, Denise, and happy month and happy last couple days of 2018, and we'll see you next year.
Bye.
Bye, Denise. Bye, guys. Have a good night.